I don't believe in coincidences. I used to until I discovered that every fear is a door. And today, I'm going to open 5. If you hear your name, don't answer. The echo in the basement. Psychological. Every night, exactly at 2:17 a.m., I would hear my own voice coming from the basement. It wasn't identical, it was almost identical. It had my timbre, my short breath, but the phrase always ended in a whisper, like someone who had spent too much time in the dark. Help me. I had been living alone since the divorce. Guilt, silence, and cold coffee were my companions. On the 3rd night, I left my cell phone recording. When I came back from the stairs, the recording picked up my footsteps and other footsteps descending after me. But I hadn't gone down. I started marking the walls with chalk, numbers, arrows. If it was plumbing, the sound would echo the same way. But the whisper changed. Instead of "help me," it said my full name in the same irritated tone my mother used to call me. A detail I never tell anyone. On the 4th night, I brought a lavalier microphone, a headlamp, and second-hand courage. "Who are you?" I asked, my voice failing. The thing repeated it, but in real time, without the acoustic delay. It felt like I was talking to a wall. I touched the cold bricks. From the other side, the answer came, my tongue tied. "I am you that didn't leave." The light flickered. For an instant, I saw my shadow twice, as if I were duplicated. The echo began to anticipate my sentences, saying what I would say before I even thought it. "If you free me, the 2:17 a.m. stops." It was too convincing. It was me. I unscrewed the old trapdoor. There was a narrow space between the subfloor and the concrete, as if someone had built a service corridor and forgotten about it. The air there tasted of metal and old rain. As I entered up to my shoulders, I heard my phone fall down below. But I had it. The ringtone came from the dark, behind me. The voice whispered in my ear, warm, intimate. "There's no time in here, only versions." I tried to back away. A hand identical to mine, but trembling with cold, held my wrist. "If I don't leave, you don't leave." I pulled hard. The trapdoor slammed shut. The light went out. I felt the world shift, like when an elevator stops between floors. The camera fell, recording the basement floor. And from the dark, my voice, not mine, said, relieved, "Finally, you came." Some doors open downwards, others outwards. The road that only appears at night. Urban legend. I've been a truck driver for 29 years. I can distinguish fog from smoke, a shortcut from a trap. But that Tuesday, the GPS suggested an unnamed route that would cut off half an hour. It was 2 a.m., and I accepted. The asphalt was too new for a place that didn't exist on any map. Gray signs, no letters. Dense vegetation on both sides. After 10 minutes, an old gas station appeared with a dented awning and an unlit sign. I pulled over to stretch my legs. The radio on the counter was on, tuned to a station playing old waltzes. And then I heard my wife's voice. She had died 5 years ago in a collision on a rainy night. I had heard her, "My love," only one more time. Now, I thought it was fatigue. I changed stations. The voice followed, cutting across frequencies like water slipping through fingers. "Come home." I went back to the truck. The GPS insisted on the same route, a blue pin unmoving. When I tried to leave, the road brought me back to the same gas station. The dashboard clock wouldn't go past 2:17 a.m. I called my brother, voicemail. I tried to film. The recording was black, except for a flickering glow. It looked like a brake light. On the 5th loop, I decided to drive through the station without stopping. Her voice became clearer. "It wasn't your fault." The rearview mirror showed a white shape crossing the road. I hit the brakes, nothing there. The radio crackled, 2 kilometers ahead. I obeyed. The fog parted to reveal a twisted guardrail and old marks on the asphalt, like scars. I recognized it. That's where everything ended that night. And the gas station, I remembered it, but alive, lit up, with people laughing. My wife had called me at that time. I didn't answer. A truck came from the opposite direction. I parked. The truck's radio switched to speakerphone on its own. Now it's your turn to drive home. I swallowed hard. Home to where? The silence was heavy. Then the taillights of my own truck lit up ahead, as if there were another me on the road. When I woke up, I was pulled over on the shoulder. A truck driver knocked on the window. "Are you all right? You almost drove straight past." In the background, there was an abandoned gas station and an old radio behind the counter, playing waltzes with no one around. Some routes always lead to the same reception. The rule of room 19, rule-based. I arrived at the Hotel Ariston on a business trip. The lobby smelled of heavily waxed wood and cold flowers. The receptionist, without looking up, slid a paper towards me. Rules of room 19. 9 items, old typography. The 10th line was blank. I read it out of curiosity. 1. Never answer knocks after 3 a.m. 2. If you hear footsteps on the ceiling, ignore them. 3. Bathroom mirror covered after 3 a.m. Do not remove. Nonsense to scare tourists. I went up, laughing. It was 10 p.m. I left the paper under the water glass. At 3:01, 3 knocks on the door. Thump, thump, thump. I thought it was a prank. I looked through the peephole. Empty corridor. I remembered rule 1. I ignored it just to prove I could. The silence filled me with childish pride. I went to the bathroom and saw the mirror covered by a black fabric held with tape. Rule 3 was smiling at me. I tore off the cloth. The reflection hesitated. My image appeared a second late, like a bad transmission. I raised my hand, and it raised hers afterwards. I smelled iron and jasmine. The lamp flickered. The other me opened its mouth to say something, but the words came from below, from the drain. "Don't turn your back on me." I went back to the room with my heart pounding in my throat. I turned on the TV for noise. A local channel showed the hotel lobby camera live. Nobody. Below the screen, the rules scrolled as a footer. 10 items. I froze. The 10th one said, 10. If you broke rule 3, do not look back until dawn. I didn't look. I sat on the bed staring at the dark window. Gradually, the reflection in the glass changed. There were 2 silhouettes. The other one raised her hand before me. The phone rang. I answered. The reception. "Miss Helena, thank you for staying with us. Your checkout has been completed." But I'm still... The beep cut me off. The sun finally hinted at blue. I turned around. The bathroom mirror was clean. My suitcase open, clothes disarranged by meticulous hands. I knocked on the door. A guest identical to me looked at me, smiling like someone who had seen an old acquaintance. "Room 21, please," she requested to reception. The lobby TV showed her live, doing my check-in. In the elevator mirror, as I descended, the old me remained trapped, banging on the glass with her knuckles like someone hitting a coffin lid. Breaking rules opens frequencies we can't control. The child in the radio, supernatural tech. I buy old electronics to restore. I found a 1940s radio, brown with a fabric grille and an amber dial, heavy as a secret. When I turned it on, it took a while to light up. The static came with the smell of warm dust. And then a child's voice. "Is anyone there?" I thought it was an amateur radio transmission. "Who is this?" Silence. Then sobs. "It's dark. It's turning." I turned the radio over. There were recent solder marks and a metal plate with numbers hammered in, like a registration plate. I researched. They matched parts used in military planes from that era. A salesman had told me, laughing, that that radio flew. I started recording the transmissions. The voice always appeared near 2:17 a.m. Sometimes it sang softly, an old lullaby. Other times it asked for mommy. I replied, guided, asked her to describe where she was. There's water everywhere, but it doesn't get wet, she said. There's light outside, but no one opens the window. One night, the radio tuned itself to irregular Morse code. I translated it with a website, SOS Nancy. The name hit me in the gut. I scoured digitized newspapers. In 1943, a plane named Nancy Bell disappeared with a family on board. Among the passengers, an 8-year-old.
The dial trembled, stuck between frequencies. If you hear me from within, I'll come out, the voice whispered, asking for a trade no child should know how to offer. The light in my house flickered, the radio turned on by itself. The fabric grill seemed to breathe, inflating and deflating like a mouth. The sound came too close, as if my ear were the speaker. Now it's your turn to hear me from within. What if the only voice that answers is yours, just delayed?